All right, good morning, everybody. I'll call the meeting to order. Will everyone please stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First thing on the agenda is approval of minutes, starting with March 17th, 2022. Are there any minutes? All right, hearing none, if there's no objections, those are approved. Next is the minutes for March 25th, 2022. Are there any amendments? All right, hearing none, if there are no objections, those are approved. Next is the minutes for March 30th, 2022. Are there any amendments? All right, hearing none, if there are no objections, those are approved. Next item is the approval of requisitions for April 7th, 2022, in the amount of $44,241. There are no objections, that is approved. Next is the approval of accounts payable for March 24th, 2022, in the amount of $28,019.96. There is no objection, that is approved. Next is the approval of accounts payable for March 31st, 2022, in the amount of $520,006.70. There's no objections, that is approved. Next is accounts payable for April 7th, 2022, in the amount of $1,070,239.14. There's no objection, that is approved. Next is approval of manual checks for March 25th, 2022, in the amount of $4,882.60. There's no objection, that is approved. Next is manual checks for April 1st, 2022, in the amount of $66,526.89. There's no objection, that is approved. Next is manual checks for April 8th, 2022, in the amount of $8,860.42. There's no objection, that is approved. And next is approval of payroll for March 31st, 2022, in the amount of $273,587.82. There's no objection, that is approved. Are there any announcements or changes to the agenda? All right, well, thank you. Next, we can move to public comment. I'll remind everyone online to raise your hand. We're asking people here in person to please stand at the podium, and you only have 3 minutes. I'm going to start with people in the room. First on the list I have is Mr. David Tabb.
David Tabb, Jefferson County lifelong resident taxpayer. The minutes that you just approved, March 17th, March 24th, March 30th. On the 17th, we did not include my public comments. Not there. They're in there now. They're not with the ones that they were supposed to be for. March 25th, virtual. By governor's order, they're supposed to be open meetings. Shouldn't be doing that. On the 25th, made 4 motions and approved it. No public comments. Violation. March 30th, same thing. Governor's order. Supposed to be open. Made 2 different motions, so they're in violation. Also on March 30th, you started at 9:31 until when? You opened up again at 4:42, approving a letter for a $250,000 grant. How can you keep on doing this? Approval of accounts payable, there's no documents, no amounts. You just read it. It's not in the agenda pack. Manual checks, again, not in the agenda pack. Public comment portion of my written statement. It's just too much to go over in 3 minutes. You're doing a hostile takeover of the ambulances. Shame on you. How do I know this is already starting? Because you've already been to Baker Fire Company and looked at their ambulance to purchase it. So if you haven't approved any of this stuff, how can you be going out and doing that? Also have in here a questionnaire that I'm sending to everyone, elected officials and the candidates. It's going to be a nice read. Patricia Rucker in part has responded to some of those. She agrees with me, you shouldn't be in here having open meetings or having virtual meetings without having public comments and before the people. And if you make a decision on this ambulance affecting all the people and the funding it's going to need to be, it needs to be brought before the people. Not you. I did not give you that power. And I did not surrender my rights to do so. So here we are again. You have the ESA. You have a building out there you're still paying money on. You bought ambulances, put all this stuff together. How's that working out? Oh, the building's empty and you're using for office space. Shame on you. How can you do this? It's hard to be safe in this county if you don't have this guy.
Next on the list I have is Lynn Whitmer.
Good morning. I'm Lynn Whitmire, and I'm here to express my thanks to Sandy McDonald for her years of service to the county residents. I've known Sandy in 3 different capacities: as a resident who just has questions about what's going on, as a member representing a civic group and trying to find out how to get on the agenda and get background information to you all, and then finally as the county commissioner. Sandy is the poster child for what a public servant should be. She is always responsive to questions. I don't think I've ever called Sandy and not gotten an answer or a response. She is kind. I've never heard her say a bad word about anybody, even though God knows I've tried. But she's generous of her time, and she is just always available to help people. And I think you're going to have a tough time replacing her. And I think if you want to know what the job description should be, I think you just take a picture of Sandy McDonald and hand it to them. So Sandy, on my behalf, I'm speaking for myself, but I know I am speaking for so many county residents to say thank you for your service, and I wish you the best of luck in the future.
Did anyone raise their hands online, Jess? All right, thank you. Last call for anyone in the room. All right, I'll go ahead and close public comment. I move to agenda item number 1, Patricia Rucker, Jefferson County Full Feasibility Study.
Sorry, I didn't know.
You can come up here, Bob.
Okay.
It's just for public comment.
Oh, okay. So my expectation was, I thought I was gonna just be handing this to all of you.
Can you speak louder, please?
Sorry, okay. So I'm here to present a check, which was something that we discussed to do a feasibility study for a county aquatic facility for the county residents. And you all voted to have matching funds to this, and I'm very happy to report that I have received the funds to give you from the state, and would just like to present this to you, and if that's okay.
That'd be awesome.
Yes, we'll
And-
take money.
and-
I mean,
And Jennifer Myers is here from the Parks and Rec. If you want,
Get a picture.
if you did want to come up,
That's what I was gonna ask.
we'll get a picture. And if you want to say anything, Jennifer, you want to come up and say? I'll put you on the spot here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, thank you to Senator Rucker and for the county. I know that this is something that the county residents have asked for a very, very long time. We get a lot of calls. So I think this feasibility study is the best way to move forward to see if this is something that the county can handle both population-wise and financially, to decide exactly what needs to be done and you know, how much it's going to cost to build, how much it's going to cost to maintain, and everyone can move forward knowing what we're going to get ourselves into, so to speak. So we're, you know, excited to move forward with the study and involve the public, and, all the stakeholders that would affect.
I'm really happy to hear that. I'm really hope that you will be taking input from others, everyone in the county. People have been requesting this for many years, including myself. And I think it's really, like, this is something the county needs. We're at the stage now in our, this is something that's really, so, thank you.
And I think you meant, obviously, everybody knows that Patricia knocks on a lot of doors when she's run for office. And I think you mentioned to me that this was the number one thing that when you ask, what can we do for you as a resident, is to have a community pool. So, or look into having a community pool.
Year round.
Year round,
That's
okay.
important. Yes, there is a
Yeah.
very big difference between a pool, an outdoor pool that's only available a few months out of the year.
Yep.
And one that's year-round accessibility. And with the health issues that we've had in the last few years with COVID and everything else, to me, my personal opinion, there is no better, greater investment than to provide people a way to stay healthy.
Absolutely. But you want to come up with a picture?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And how much is this month?
Sorry, so this check is for $15,000. To be matched by the county disability center.
It's your time or?
It's, we usually do. it.
Yeah, in the corner.
Okay.
You have to get in the corner.
You and Jennifer?
Behind you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not me.
You need to square this way,
I want to get skinny.
Caleb, in just a little bit, so you're out that sign.
which I wasn't trying to crowd them over there.
No, I got you. I just, to get the Jefferson County sign behind you.
Yeah, and it, yeah.
I handed out the number. Take it.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Caleb, where are you gonna put?
With the list that goes back to Jess.
That's what I'm always worried about. I get a big check and put it in the right place.
All right, so we can move to agenda item number 2. I have Florida Storm, Circuit Clerk, and Flora Kuhn, Director of Facility and Fleet Management.
I'm not sure if the storm was online or here, but
We're a little early.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know, Laura.
Okay.
I can probably
It's-
proceed.
Yeah.
If you're able to.
So I was contacted a while back by one of the clerks in the magistrate office. What is happening is magistrates are running out of file storage space. Circuit clerk is now able to e-file, so they don't need as much space, so they worked out a deal to swap their storage spaces. So the clerk got in touch with me to clean out that space, pull some old cardboard boxes and metal files that were falling down and need to come out of there. So we got everything cleared out there, but now they need shelving. So I had my staff measure what their needs were and do the measurements. And it came out to about $10,000, a little less than $10,000 worth of shelving. I don't currently really have that in my budget. Don't know where that's supposed to come from. They tell me it's difficult to get these kind of things from the state. I'm not sure if that's provided by the commission or provided by the state. I didn't have it. Shelf, so we're kind of going back and forth with how to handle the purchase because it is a needed thing. They need a place for their storage. And unfortunately, the magistrates aren't able to e-file yet. They still have paper boxes and lots of them. So, yeah.
So just, have we explored like any type of grant or anything?
I had asked them about that because I know there are those available and I think they were going to look into that, but I don't know when that is available and when that comes, see that your office has used that, and prosecutors and different places have used those filing grants, but I don't know when that is available or the outcome of it, but I did let them know that they do have those out there.
But for me, I think this could be something that comes out of cold severance, but I would like to know if we're turned down for grants first. I would like that to be the first option.
Yeah, I agree with that. I would like to know if we could explore all options.
But we're running a little bit early.
I gathered that.
Yeah. So, no, Laura was just getting us called up for your request. So I said Laura was getting us up to speed on your request.
Well, we have two Lauras here.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little confusing.
Just explaining what your needs were and the problem with funding. They had asked about if there's any grants available and that sort of thing.
Yeah. Are you aware of any grants that are available for this? Do you know?
No, I'm not. I had years back done some reorganizing in the space I have. I did my version of a graph. I'm not a drafter by any means. It's a 35 by 35 foot area. And when Commissioner Nolan was the circuit clerk, had set this room up down there, we had the old banker boxes that are file cabinets. Well, they have a lifespan. We found out when it started crushing on each other. So with electronic filing, I'm not generating any new paperwork. And with our record retention schedule, I'm able to destroy records as archives, history and archives allows us. So my needs have gotten much smaller. We had rows and rows of these banker boxes. I was able to bring all those files across the street to my office. Her staff did a great job tearing them down to get rid of them. So we have all this space. Now there is still a caged in area here, which has all my evidence. It's under lock and key there. I'm gonna hang on to that until I have everything done over in my office so I can create that space again. So this whole middle section is empty. The magistrate clerk, her stuff is exploding. She does not have a retention schedule like the clerk's office does. She can't throw stuff away. So hers is building a lot. So we discussed, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, my needs are changing, your needs are changing. Her space is about half of this. By law, I have to store all of the stenographer notes that when they're sitting up there, all that crazy paper that prints out. I have boxes of it. That's the only thing I need to store over there now. And I have since learned the old court stenographer, Kathy Cook, has been renting a storage unit for her 40 years as a stenographer. So I have to get all of that from the storage area and I have to put it in that area. So Shayna and I, we're gonna just switch spots. That's it. Her stuff is all in banker boxes. The stuff I will have down in there will be in banker boxes in her unit. Her unit size will be fine for me. If we cannot switch, she's gonna have to request off-site storage. And that's gonna cost money. And I figured that was a waste. So with us switching, she can have the room she needs and room to grow. Years back when I reorganized this and got our files out of there, the previous director, Bill Polk, had put some shelving around the edges for me. It's not pretty and it doesn't have to be, but boy, is it functional because you gotta keep those boxes off the floor. Because previously the way it was set up, the boxes were on the floor in certain corners and it was a mess. We don't have that anymore. We have to have these shelving for her. She said, yeah, we'll switch spaces and then I'll take the shelving with me. I'm like, okay, that's That's not an option either. But I'm really hoping you all can help us out with this. Every year, I've always had excess in my budget. I just don't know this year. I'm sure I will a little bit. I don't know how much to be able to offer something into it. But you know, whatever I don't need, I won't spend. So I'm hoping we can do this so we can get this moved. She is now having all these boxes stacked around her office. And it's getting a little bit, I think, unsafe with having that. So that's why we've kind of gotten to this point. She did all this legwork figuring out the best pricing for shelving. And I think with the way the economy is now, I think it's higher than it needs to be, but I think unfortunately it's what the economy is.
Made out of steel, that's why. But I don't question the need for it or, you know, the way you're rearranging and swapping storage area. I think all of us are wondering if there's any courthouse grant for it or something through the court system to explore that before we look at our own budget. But yes,
So they missed the cycle for the records management and facility preservation,
okay,
because they're gonna be issuing that, and they issued that like January, so it will be coming up, but they've missed the fiscal year 23 cycle.
okay, I see.
So for next year.
Definitely.
All right, well, it's gonna be messy for a while.
Well, I mean, that doesn't mean we're not considering doing it now. It's
No,
just nice
absolutely.
to know the
We'll go
grant
ahead
is
and do that.
on.
Later,
Yeah, we'll go ahead and put that in for next year then.
for next year, if something else comes up.
I mean, I personally don't mind funding it now. I always say we should look at grant funding first. It sounds like a need that's immediate need. And obviously when you wait on grant funding, it takes some time to get. I mean, I don't have a problem with, we just like to look, before we move money out of our, in our accounts, we just like to see if there's any type of other funding. But it sounds like it's immediate need today, and it doesn't sound like we can wait for another 7 or 8 months or whatever it is. And then once you apply for that grant funding, you probably have to wait several months later.
It'll be probably January 23 before you would know if you were issued the grant or not.
Yeah.
So you're talking another year before you would know
Yeah.
if you were awarded the grant.
And if we would pull money out from what account would we pull it from? Would it be cold severance, you think, or?
That's usually what we use for one-time purchases.
Extras.
Okay, well, if that's the case, I don't mind moving a motion to approve this recommendation for purchase of shelving units up to $10,000 to be pulled from our cold severance fund.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion?
What if somebody donates it? I got five.
I'm sorry, there's a motion on the floor for the commissioner, sir. All right, is there any more discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
You may want to talk to the gentleman in the back. You might have free shelving for us. So
I
you done?
absolutely will.
You do that, catch
I
one of them.
absolutely will. And not to say we can utilize all 10,000 of that. I'll try to save as much as I can in the process. But I thank you.
Next, I have agenda item number 3, Tom Hanson.
Commissioners. I have several items in front of you today, but I want to hand out. I come before you today on, as I said, several items. The first one is the hiring of a replacement animal control officer. The slot's been open for a while now. We've done our due diligence and done applicant questioning, things like that, investigation. The individual we want to hire is an individual named Clayton DeHaven. He'll begin on the April 11th, 2022, and his starting salary will be $37,750.
All right, I move to approve the hire of Clayton DeHaven. Start date is 4/1/22 for the starting salary of say 37,750?
Yes.
Just one request for amendment, 411.
Oh, okay, 411. I'm sorry.
I'll second that.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion?
How many animal control officers do we have now?
3.
We had 3, so this would be the 4th one?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, have we had an increase in requests?
No,
Requests for service for.
Yes, ma'am.
With the drug.
yes, ma'am. And this is a position is vacant now. This is not a new.
That's not the issue.
Okay.
I want to know what the demand for service is, so they know a 4th officer is necessary or not.
Yes, ma'am, it is. And there has been, I can't give you numbers, but I can tell you that it has, and it's also causing overtime expenditure because the individuals don't have they're not enough
Right,
personnel
I see
to
what you
cover the cost.
You don't have enough for
Right.
24/7.
Yes, ma'am.
So, and this is a curiosity question. With COVID and maybe less kids in school, is there still a lot of calls at the schools, or is it more accident investigation?
No, this is an animal control officer, man. It's handling just, if you read, they just seized 42 dogs out of a house because of it being a
Oh,
unfit. This is not a deputy. This is an animal
I'm reading
control.
it wrong. Yes, okay, I'm on the wrong planet. I'm sorry. My apologies.
Okay.
All right, is there any more discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The second item is, when I was the lieutenant in charge of administrative and also wrote the budget for one of the predecessors, when we would total a vehicle cruiser, we would get the check and then we'd be able to buy a like vehicle. We would reach out and find have a sergeant just had a woman pull out in front of him on the way to work, totaled a 2017 Ford Explorer police package vehicle. I directed that the equipment be removed instead of just ripped out, removed, so it could be used again. I found a 2017 Ford Explorer with 65,000 miles on it in Baltimore, and the county got a check for $22,407. I'd like permission to start being able to use those again. At one time, it would come to the sheriff's office, it would go to an account, and when we found a vehicle, or we had a total vehicle, we could go buy one replacement and not cost the county any money. Or it would take a little bit extra money out of my budget or whatever to buy another vehicle. Now it goes to the county and it goes in the general fund, and so now I'm short a vehicle. I had 3 vehicles total last year that so when we bought 4 vehicles, all it did is replace one. Like I said, I had one that just was total last month. I got a check from the insurance company for $22,407, and I should be able to use that money to go buy a replacement vehicle and just put the equipment that came out of that vehicle, the wrecked vehicle, right into it. The only thing I'd have to buy is front push bar and stripe, and which all would come out to approximately the same amount of money as we got from the insurance company.
So this money, this $22,000 is sitting in our general fund, and you just want it back to your fund to buy another vehicle?
Yes, that's all I'm asking for. And I think, like I said, that was the way it was. I don't know when it changed. It was after I retired, but the checks for vehicles came to the sheriff's office, so we could go out and buy something like it to get it back on the road.
I mean, that makes sense to me. I think that if the vehicle is totaled, that obviously it's going to need to be replaced or repaired, and that the money should be appropriated for that.
Let me ask you a question. I know we send most of our vehicle purchases through, I can't even say, talk this one, through our fleet maintenance, which is Laura. Does this, just so I'm clear, does money go back into, or do we really, I'm looking for the motion to put forward. Should it go towards the sheriff's line item, or does it go to our fleet manager's line item for the purchase? Or do we know?
It's not a new vehicle purchase. It's a used vehicle purchase, so it doesn't fall under the quote unquote bid process. I have accounts that I can put it in that I can, in essence, it's not a long process. If I find the vehicle today, I could drive to Baltimore, write them a check and bring the vehicle home. And the sooner I get the vehicle, the sooner, and I believe if you go and put it into the fleet, it's got one more step I have to do in order to get a vehicle on the road.
Okay.
And like I said, I don't know when it changed, but when in 2015, when I was the lieutenant in charge of vehicles, stuff like that, the insurance checks came right to the sheriff's office.
Well, you get-
If I could just interject, this is John talking to you remotely. I did talk to Sheriff about this, and I do support this. I think with the fact that we need to move on these pre-owned units quickly, because they're moving very fast, and we've got to get these vehicles replaced expeditiously. So I think the money would get dropped into a special revenue account that the sheriff has set up. I think there's several in his bucket over there, where we can go ahead and buy these vehicles. If we don't do this, we'll miss opportunities to purchase pre-owned vehicles, and they're going very fast. It's just very, very difficult to get these things out of the gate. So that's just my 2 cents on that.
No, and I do agree, John. I think the sheriff hit the nail on the head where he said there would be one extra step. So I agree with it. Should go. Now, once you said that and explained that, I do appreciate that. So I'll go ahead and I'd like to go ahead and move the motion to transfer the $22,407.33, is that correct? To the one of the sheriff's account. You tell me which one, tell our finance folks which one, for the purchase of a used police car or Explorer, or whatever we need.
Right?
Whatever you need. There you go.
And I'm gonna say for the future, when we total a vehicle, that I contact and have them send a check to me as opposed to sending the check to the county commission, and we can just go for that. And I will advise the county commission when a check's been issued so that we know that we just go forward with that.
Fair enough. Okay.
I'll second that.
So moving seconds discussion.
I'm sorry. I'm in support of the motion to use this money to buy a used vehicle.
Yes, ma'am.
I understand that. I'm not in support of always making an automatic transfer to one of your accounts. I think in theory, and I know it makes another step for you, but we're paying for all the new vehicles coming out of capital. It should, in an ideal world, it should go to capital so we have a fund to buy new vehicles. Because that's the way I'm looking at it. Maybe, but I understand the situation. I'm fine doing it on a one-time basis, but not automatically all the time.
Yeah, and that was clearly my motion just for this time.
Okay,
Yeah,
I just wanna make sure.
just for this money, and that's why I put that.
And I don't have no problem coming back to the commission every time it happens that we need that. So.
And I do understand the sheriff's concern, because as you all know, it's hard to get used vehicles.
Oh,
And when you find one in Baltimore or wherever, Philadelphia, you better drive there that day and get it. It's
Get it
gone.
And say, I'll write you a check right now.
Yeah.
Here's your check. Give me the vehicle.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. Because we are in short supply. Just drive by any new
Yes.
car lot and you'll see. Yeah, I agree.
Just a point of clarification for me, part of your motion is to pull it out of the capital outlay fund, because that's what I was going to ask, where are we pulling the money from?
I don't know where the check went.
Wherever
it came in.
at.
But it's probably just in our general balance. is what I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
thinking.
wherever it went to, I don't know what town.
This is a general fund.
Yeah, if it's in general fund, we'll pull it out of general fund. I'll add that to my motion. Okay, amend my motion.
That would be a budget transfer and then obviously a budget revision, correct?
Yeah.
We have to come back.
All right, is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Last item is, what I handed out to you is the paperwork.
Oh, yeah.
Is the Safe Streets and Roads for All. It's a federal grant system. It's a bipartisan infrastructure law, establishes its new Safe Streets and Roads for All discretionary program that provides $5 to $6 billion in grants over the next 5 years. Funding supports regional, local, and tribal initiatives through grants to prevent roadway deaths and serious injuries. The SS4A program supports the department's national roadway safety strategy and a goal of 0 deaths and serious injuries. The sheet I gave you shows you the accidents that have happened in Jefferson County over the recent time. We want to put together a committee to best figure out how to spend the money if we can get money from the federal government. Things like we want to buy road warning signs, the newer ones, even though your speed is this and speed is that, showing you flashing on it, but it also does things like tracks. It can turn it off and not show anything, but it's still counting speeds and telling me how fast they're driving, and also tells me where, if I have the manpower to put deputies to do traffic control and things like that. Those are some of the items that we want to go forward with. And again, a lot of that's in the handout I gave you. I guess what I'm asking for is that we we can start looking into this and the grants. It says here, the program can support the creation of an action plan, or it can help fund activities identified in the action plan. Notice of funding opportunity is expected to be released in May. The Sheriff's Office has projects that we feel we worthy of the grant and felt that the county may have projects as well. Questions that need to be addressed by the commission, things like you're getting complaints of people speeding on certain streets or stuff like that. And we found that your speed is signs do tend to slow people down.
Yes.
We're asking that when we decide the funding, we're going to come before you and ask you to approve the submission of grants.
Yeah, I'm with you on the traffic signs to tell you your speed. I mean, it's a friendly reminder for me if I tend to have a foot. But the middle way blinking red light is a big issue right now.
Yes, ma'am.
With folks and, the school bus.
I know, I live down the street from there.
Yes, and I go that way quite a bit myself. So, yeah, there's certainly areas.
So I guess I'm asking for a motion to approve applying for grants through this new federal program.
I don't have a problem with that. We're always looking for opportunities for grants to fund things in the county. So this is certainly is a win for us if we can find something. I don't have a problem moving. I'll move the motion to form a committee to explore the options of applying for state streets or safe streets and roads for all grant opportunities.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioner. Have a great day.
You too. We were a little early. Did you guys want to go ahead and take Jeff? This is just a proclamation.
Yeah. Get the people who apply.
Because not all of them might be here yet for interviews. Yeah, so Jeff, you want to come up? We can take you next.
He might be waiting for me. I don't know.
A bunch of staff out there.
Hold on, they're coming in.
Good morning. I'm here today. Thanks for taking us early. I really appreciate that. I'm here today and with a number of staff members here that are here to be able to work through a document. Sorry, I'm not thinking properly here. So I do have prepared comments. So when people are in their worst moment in life, they're needing help in an emergency, there are anonymous heroes throughout the United States, usually in darkened rooms, such as ours, that are prepared and committed to giving their best to help people in their time of need. Second full week of April each year is recognized throughout North America as National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week is meant to recognize the first responders and celebrate the dedicated men and women that answer the call to 911. In Jefferson County, you have a highly trained, skilled, dedicated, and professional core of individuals that responds to thousands of emergencies with little thought or recognition from outside the organization. I've submitted a request for a proclamation to you. I'm under the impression that they have the formal document proclamation. Good. Recognizing the week of April 10th through April 16th as National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in Jefferson County. If you would please do the public safety dispatchers of Jefferson County that honor, I would appreciate it. Thank you. So you have a proclamation.
I'll make a motion to recognize the week of April 10th through 16th, 2022 as National Public Safety Telecommunicator Week in honor of the men and women of the Jefferson County Emergency Communication Center who answered the call, excuse me, as the first responder with the signing of the proclamation. And I'll read the proclamation unless somebody else wants to.
You want to roll?
All right, the proclamation states, whereas emergencies can occur at any time that requires police, fire, or emergency medical services, and whereas when an emergency occurs, the prompt response of police officers, firefighters, and paramedics is critical to the protection of life and the preservation of property, and whereas the safety of our police officers and firefighters is dependent upon the quality and accuracy of information obtained from citizens who, through the use of the 911 emergency number, telephone the Jefferson County Emergency Communications Center. And whereas public safety communicators are the first and most critical contact our citizens have with emergency services. And whereas public safety telecommunicators are the single vital link for our police officers and firefighters by monitoring their activities by radio, providing them information and ensuring their safety. And whereas the public safety telecommunicators of the Jefferson County Emergency Communications Center have contributed substantially to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, and treatment of patients. And whereas each dispatcher has exhibited compassion, understanding, and professionalism during the performance of their job in the past year and many years past. Therefore, be it resolved that the County Commission of Jefferson declares the week of April 10th through 16th, 2022 to be National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in Jefferson County, West Virginia, in honor of the men and women whose diligence and professionalism keep our county and citizens safe.
I will be happy to second that.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. You did a good job.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you recognizing the public safety dispatchers that answer your 911 call every day.
I'm just going to say thanks to you guys for all that you do. Keep the center up and going and be that first contact. Appreciate it.
Next week, we have some activities planned for them. Just some fun activities, and our all-staff meeting next week is, we usually get together twice a year, sometimes all-staff meeting is every month, but twice a year we'll do a meal. So we'll have a meal together and some other activities, a number of award presentations and things like that to the dispatchers.
If I could weigh in real quick, Jeff, that'd be great. This is John again. I want to thank all the dispatchers, the men and women. That I had an opportunity to spend some time over the 911 center, and I think the proclamation hits the nail on the head. It's a very stressful, sometimes thankless job. It never ends. So I too want to applaud all the folks that work in that center, Jeff and Joe, who manage that as well. The activities that we have planned for next week, we'll certainly get an invite out to the commissioners because we love to have you come out and partake in some of those festivities. I think it'd be good to come out and see what goes on out there. So Jeff, I'll work with you and get some of those invites out to our commissioners. Thank you.
And what I would just like to thank too, Mr. Polzinski for his years of service. I remember when he was hired. It was a long time ago. It was the first term of county commissioners. And I also remember the time when the roof was collapsing on the building that the E91 was housed in. He stayed inside with firefighter or Chief Ed Smith. And then that facility that was, in danger of collapsing. It was truly inspirational to see that dedication to our county. I appreciate it. For the picture?
Yeah. No problem. Yeah, you want to do it right here?
Yeah, that may be.
Everybody in that back corner. Yeah, I would be sliding.
Okay.
Y'all are the fourth one, so you're the best.
Yeah, we have to cut anybody out.
Yeah.
I gotta stand sideways.
Yes, go.
Taller, shorter. I'm short.
Yeah, we're going to have to make two rows. Yeah, we're going to have to make two rows.
Short.
Just moving the water.
That's what.
Thank you. Very good job. Wow. All right. Thank you very much.
All right.
And thank you all for all your hard work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
So next I have is agenda item number 4, interviews and appointments, starting with Jefferson County Development Authority.
Very helpful. Just made a chart. I
Yeah,
tried
it's
to make
very
mine, got
helpful.
pretty-
Yes.
Yeah.
It got pretty messy, so.
The first name on the list I have is Judy York. Yes, please. Are there any commissioners that have a question to start us off?
I always start with the same question, and that's, why do you want to be on the Jefferson County Development Authority?
Yeah, so I sent a letter in of interest to be on the Jefferson County Development Authority to help attract and retain businesses in the county. I have had a big, long, I ran a small business for 8 years in Hagerstown, which is, just right across the border there, in a rural area. Grew that business. When I came in, it was a $10 million business, grew up over 30 million, sold it to General Dynamics. It was, we did Defense Department contracting for IT services. And since then, I've been an executive coach in the tri-state area, running 2 peer boards for small business owners and growing all those companies. It's just amazing, to work with companies like that. And what I find is some companies are, a lot of entrepreneurs start a business with a lot of talent and maybe some networks, and they have a little bit of naivete with them. And so once they get going, they need a little bit of direction on how to go from, 5 or 10 employees to 20 or 30 or 40 employees. And that's where it can get lost, and that's where businesses can start to struggle. So been able to really help a lot of good businesses here locally, be able to extend that into more of a countywide support of what might be needed.
And so are you interested in, is it the citizen, industry, or business representative?
Yeah, that's a good question. I wasn't sure how you categorize it. So I am a citizen in the county. I have a business, though it's it's just me. I don't have any plans to expand it beyond myself unless I have a little bit of folks I contract with. But as a coach, I'm
So are you saying you would like to serve as a business representative, given your background? I mean, everyone that applies for the board has to be a county citizen.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, then I could do that, and I didn't know when it was business, how big of the business it needed to be, that's
There's
why.
no
I was wondering.
definition.
Okay, I didn't know. Yes, I have a kind of business in town.
Okay. All
I don't have anything else.
Question for me is, if you were queen for a day and you could bring in any business you wanted to, what kind of business would it be?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I just talked to one of my former employees yesterday at a county track meet, my son runs at Jefferson County. And I have, when we sold our business, about a dozen employees branched off and started all their own businesses, doing professional services, contracting mostly for the Department of Defense. And this particular company wound up headquartering in Berkeley County because the hub's there and there's, access there for them. And now they're up to 60 employees in like 5 years. And so I would love to be able to attract businesses like that. And the government contractors are it's a very easy trek down the road. And it brings in a high tax base, usually younger people that have kids, and fuels your school system. And so that seems like a really great, option for the county to try.
Thank you. Anything from any other commissioners? Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Did I skip these first two names? Is it my fault?
They're not here.
Oh, okay.
Actually, Mr. McLaughlin is online. If you'd like to-
Okay.
All right, yeah, we can go back up to the top then. Commissioner Coughlin. It's my fault.
Do we have anybody else on, Jeff?
We have Mr. McLaughlin, Mr. Calandria, and Mr. Jones.
Okay, gotcha, okay.
And
There's Neil.
We'll get you.
So I have a very hard time hearing.
We'll get
In
to
this
you.
room, the voices get swallowed and
We will get to you. We've got some online. We're
No
going to
problem.
interview first.
All right.
Okay.
I'm just waiting here.
All right.
Does any commissioners have a question for Mr. McLaughlin?
Yeah, Neil, I know you've served for some time on the board. I appreciate that. And you were president and now vice president. And I asked every applicant the same question. So why do you want to serve on the Jefferson County Development Authority?
Well, thanks for entertaining my application. At this point, it's more of unfinished business. We've been through some ugly times and we're gaining quite a bit of momentum. I'm looking forward to going from surviving to thriving. Plenty of good things going on and a little bit of a transitional handoff to new members that are on the authority that maybe just need a little bit more time of some sage advice. Hopefully I could offer a little bit of that. So just looking forward to the growth that the community can experience.
Thank you. I don't have any further questions.
Anything from other commissioners?
All right.
I just have Mr. McLaughlin, and I know you've served for a time on the Development Authority. And you said you had unfinished business, which I can certainly understand. What do you feel is your personal strength that you bring to the board? or your personal talent?
Well, so I'd split that between a little bit of history, which maybe is helpful at times and tough to deal with at other times. The other is just my experience in business and industry. The healthcare industry has had a tough couple of years, but we've survived through all of that. And I feel like some of that's maybe useful as other businesses come and struggle, or other businesses come and want to kick off in an atmosphere that's a little challenging to them. I can offer hopefully advice and a little bit of encouragement. And I really like the team that's gotten put together in the office now. So I feel like we've got opportunities to draw things that maybe we haven't had for the last several years.
All right, thank you.
Sure, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, and we said Mr. Mason's not online.
Matt, Brian.
Travel
Jones
is
is-
unavailable.
Yep,
Thank you. Next on the list I have then is Colin Stein.
he's right.
Yep. Any questions from the commissioners?
I'll ask the same question I asked all. Why do you want to be on the Jefferson County Development Authority?
Well, because I want to see Jefferson County thrive and continue to be this sort of mix of suburban and rural county that I like. I guess I don't have the. Sorry about that.
You're fine.
I like it this year remain a rural suburban mix this year. I think that requires providing support for the farming community. If you're simply looking at land, farmers can't compete with development in terms of price. Right? Something very peculiar is happening here in the county because our prices have suddenly gone up like 30% in the last 6 months. So that's a huge increase. And if you look at Washington County or Clark County, they've gone up like 2 or 3%. And that would be consistent with inflation. But, and I don't know what's happening. But farmers, I would like to see farmers continue to be a thriving, integral part of our community so that Jefferson County doesn't suddenly become like Fairfax County.
What would be your solution to make that happen?
Well, so right now I don't have a solution. I was in a motorcycle accident last July and I've been, was 6 weeks in ICU in Fairfax and in Fairfax County and Nova Hospital, and then 6 weeks in a rehab hospital in Baltimore, and I'm getting around pretty good right now, and I'm thankful for that. I think that farmers need outlets for their products. That's the most important thing right now, right? You have to have income if you're gonna do something. I'm very much in favor of farmland protection, and I think the county should do a lot to support that, because that's one way to get money into the farmers' pockets so they can continue. If you have a space that goes into development or houses, that doesn't roll over into a farm, back into a farm. It's there. So there needs to be some careful thought on how much land we as the county commit to having in farmland.
So you're suggesting that we take away farmers' rights to do what they want to do on their property?
No, but I think that no, not at all.
Okay.
The question, but there's a question of, what's, individual's desire versus what the community wants. And the community can provide weight towards.
So if the
one decision or
if the
another.
community doesn't want a farmer to develop land, they should have the right to say so, not develop the farmer's land, is what you're saying?
I'm sorry, I told you that is accident, and I don't hear very well. And I didn't hear what your question was.
I said, so what you're saying is you just said the community should have more input. So it sounds to me like what you're saying is the community should have more input on a farmer's ground than what the farmer should have, who's been paying taxes on this farm ground for his lifetime. Is that what you're saying?
No.
Okay, all right. All right, I was just curious.
No. So we already have some say in it, right? We have zoning laws, right? And if you're zoned as a farm in a farming area, you're supposed to stay in it, right? So did we take away anybody's rights with that? No. So, could we devise incentive to remain a farm? Well, we have that in farmland protection. So, the farmers are the basis of this community. The farmers paid for everything that's currently here in the community. I mean, so now that we're as much suburban, there's a lot of suburban taxes in there too. But, when I was a kid, I knew who owned every pickup truck that went past my farm. It was my grandfather's farm then, went past our farm because only farmers owned pickup trucks. And I knew all the farmers in a significant radius of our farm. Now, there's so many cars out there, I haven't got a clue who anybody is. Right? But, so starting sometime, any growth that's happened since the 60s and 70s, any that happened before the 70s, was paid for by the farmers. Right? Most of our roads are were paid for by the farmers. And that's why they have some unusual curves, so we say. And there's improvements that need to be made in the roads right now because we have, as a community, evolved. And I think that you want that, how the community evolves, you want to have to be well thought out. Right? I'm not saying we're going to put a road through your house. But in fact, we don't want to do that, right?
Just for public safety.
I wouldn't want to, right? I don't even know where your house is or what. You may build a little chicken shack, and I wouldn't feel badly about seeing it run down. But
No problem. All right, well, thank you. I don't have any further questions.
Do any other commissioners have questions?
Thank you.
sure.
Next I have is Andy Collindra. Is that right?
I think he's online.
Andy's Pizza.
Yeah.
That's what I got.
Hey, good morning. Can you guys hear me?
Morning.
Morning. Sorry, I don't know how to work this thing. I just downloaded it. I don't know how to work this thing, but if you guys can hear me, then great. I'll go ahead and take any questions.
Anybody want to go?
Yes, yes, Andy, I'll ask you a question, ask everybody the same question.
Colin, I can't talk right now.
No, I usually set the pole in the chair so when I stand up, I don't fall on the ground.
Hold on, Andy.
And I figured that you would.
No, that's fine. Go ahead.
Just hold the chair.
I got the chair.
Thank you very much.
All right, there you go.
I didn't know
Thank you.
exactly what you were doing.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'll ask everybody to see, we see everybody to see questions. hear me?
Oh, no, I can barely hear you. What's that?
What do you say?
He can barely hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I thought we had a bad connection. Why do you want to serve on the Jefferson County Development Authority?
So I've always been in the background, I've always been, the business owner that just kind of sits back and watches what happens to the development. Since, 19 years old, I opened up my first business, and, I'm 38 now. And like I said, I've always been in the background. I think now, especially, I feel that the Jefferson County Commission is pro-growth, pro-business. So I think if we all work together, we could do a lot of good things with my knowledge of, business experience and the county commission. I think we could really bring in a lot of family-friendly businesses into the area.
Okay. And I have another question. I see your signs. I noticed you're running for city council. When is that election?
That election is June 7th.
June 7th. Okay, good deal. Awesome. I don't have any further questions.
Okay.
This is Commissioner App. I guess, Andy, a question I have is, how do you think your experience in owning a business and having Andy's Pizza, what can that bring to the Development Authority? Or how do you think that can help the board?
Well, I'll give you an example. I just spent an hour in front of the computer looking at my budget, at my sales, my expenses. I do that every single day. I understand how to do that. And I think that the city, the county should be ran kind of like a business when you look at the revenue coming in and when you look at the expenses being paid out. Should I, can I afford this? Should I pay for this? And so on. So the experience of having a business obviously should be a very important into making decisions, even as a council member or, part of the commission or development authority. And as you probably noticed or not, I have a couple properties for sale, and this by calling companies, by myself calling companies, I've never noticed how many companies are actually interested in coming into Ranson and the county. And by just making those phone calls, I've noticed sometimes it doesn't hurt to spend a day or two to do that. And I think as the Jefferson County Development, I would be more than willing to spend days or weeks to do that, to see if companies that we would all agree would be great for the community would want to come into the county.
Anything else?
I have a question. Andy, this is Jane Tab.
Hey, Jane.
Hello. You kind of answered this in some way, and I know your experience, I believe, is mainly in Ranson. But looking countywide, what do you think is our biggest challenge, or what do we need to do to attract, especially small businesses? I think, we've done the warehouses and some of the manufacturing. We can always use more, but how do we attract and retain small businesses?
Well, I agree. The industrial park out there is pretty vacant. It could use more businesses. But if you're talking about the county itself attracting more businesses, I feel that we should make it easier for businesses to come in. When I know I'm throwing in Ranson, but when people talk about Ranson, engineers automatically say, you tell businesses don't go there. And that's pretty sad, because everything, instead of 4 to 6 months, takes maybe 2 years to come in. Well, businesses don't like that. They want to invest, and they want to invest fast. And if we just make that happen and make it easier for The businesses that we want to come in, we should make the code and just cut some of the red tape so that these businesses can come in and can come in with open arms. And we just come in, when they do, we accept them with a big smile. And I hope everyone's on the same page, because that's what I want to do to, with the county and with the development authority and with, if I do win city council.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the commissioners? All right, with that, we can move on to, the next is Megan Henry Duncan. Okay. And then with that, we can move on to Brian Jones.
Hey, Brian, this is Steve. I asked everybody the same question. I asked you the same one. I guess that's the privilege of going last. Why do you want to be on the Jefferson County Development Authority?
Good morning, everybody. First, let me say thanks for the opportunity. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
So, basically, it's funny this has happened the way it has, because I was just hit 40 years old a few weeks back, and I was having a conversation with my wife, and I think we had both talked about it's about time for me to get more involved in the community. I've been in business here in Jefferson County for 18 years. I've been an insurance agent. I'm a third generation successor of a family owned insurance company. Some of you may know. And, to be honest, I'm pretty much already involved from a consulting standpoint, when it comes to a lot of these businesses, as I insure a lot of them. I know the ins and outs of these businesses. I consult with them about their property costs, bonding. So I feel like I would bring a lot of knowledge from the back end of the insurance side of things, as far as workers' comp, stuff like that. But as far as being able to serve on this board, it would give me an opportunity to spread the wealth of knowledge that I have, that I've learned over the past 18 years in this county.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Are there any other questions from the commissioners? All right, Brian, I have a question, similar to my first one. If you were king for a day, what kind of businesses would you bring into the county if you could?
Well, so what I see in this county is, we all know that the growth is here. We've got anywhere from 3,200 to 4,000 units, rooftops, homes that are going to be built over the next couple of years. We're building more schools. We don't have anything for these kids to do. My wife and I find ourselves driving into Virginia, Winchester, Northern Virginia every weekend to take them to, these indoor trampoline parks or whatever it may be. We don't even have a bowling alley. We don't have a movie theater. I'm not saying I would focus more on, things for the kids itself, fun lands, things that we don't have to worry about driving out of state for. That would be my first approach, is to try to bring some businesses to this area that can complement the kids. Because with this growth, we obviously know that this county's grown at least 7-8% in population per year. And every weekend we find ourselves, driving across state borders. So my ideal businesses would be, movie theaters, bowling alleys, things for the kids to do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Yep.
So my next question is for the commission. Did you guys want to break these out, like vote for the citizen first, business and industry, or did you want to do them all at once?
Yeah, I do have some, I'll chime in on that, I guess. I do have some questions, mainly for, it'd be a legal question. I want to put Nathan, he's not here, but I want to put him on the spot. So And I just wanted to know whether, I know Andy was running for city council. I just wanted to know if that was any type of conflict, if he could serve on the board, if he wins. I know there's no conflict now, but I would like to know if he could serve on the board if he does win. So with that being, you know what I mean? So I don't feel comfortable to go ahead and appoint every seat today. I would like to leave some of these positions open until our next meeting and leave the application date open. I will, Neil has been doing a great job. He was chairman and vice chair. Greg Mason couldn't be on today. I can certainly vouch for him as well too. He's our industry rep. And I have some questions for our legal, and that's why I don't want to make a decision on the rest of them other than Brian Jones. So what I would like to do moving forward is I'd like to nominate Neil as our citizen rep, Greg as our industry rep, and Brian as our business rep, and leave this on our agenda for 2 weeks, and we'll take up the rest of it in 2 weeks once we get some clarification from our legal.
So those are your nominations?
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to nominate, to add to that, Judy York as a business representative. I think she agreed that she could fill that slot. And I didn't see any of the current board members for business had reapplied. I didn't miss anything, did I? Okay. I just want to make sure because we had a lot of emails.
Yep. All right.
Okay, are there any more nominations? Hearing none, nominations are closed. Does anyone want to make a motion for appointments?
I'll make a motion to appoint Neil McLaughlin as citizen, Greg Mason as industry, Brian Jones as business. I think Mrs. York had a very impressive resume and very impressive interview. I just would want to get some clarification again before we move forward, before I would vote on Ms. York, but those are my 3 nominations. Good enough. Not my nomination, but that's who.
That's your motion.
That's my motion. Sorry. So sorry.
Okay. Well, why don't we just go through and vote on the names that have been nominated? I mean, didn't we?
I thought the process was to nominate and then to vote.
Yeah,
I could
on
be
each
mistaken.
one as we went.
Oh, okay, I see individually.
I see what your request. Okay. I made a group motion.
Right.
All right, I'll break it down.
I guess I would have one question though. So it says we have 1 term for the business representative. And I guess I wouldn't be comfortable voting for anyone for a business representative until I know if we can choose Andy or not. Do you
Well,
understand
and
what
you're
I'm saying?
right, and I'm looking at this one that just says 2, but I think
Yeah,
you're right, what's in the
there's
book?
There's two businesses.
Oh, okay.
Two business. Do you have this sheet?
Yes, sorry, I was looking at the agenda.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
and
It
I
is-
can understand.
Believe you me, this is confusing. No, there's 2 citizens, 2 business, and 1 industry. So, all right, I'll break it down. A little bit each. I'd like to move a motion to move that Neil McLaughlin be a citizen representative. What do you want?
Yeah.
Is that how you want to do it?
No, you go to citizen representative, we've had one nomination, right? We can vote on that. Then we can go down to the business and we've had 1. Oh, I see where you're going. Okay,
All right,
sorry.
all right, all right.
Because we went to question Mr. Copeland.
All right, let's make this easy. We have 1 industry representative and he was nominated and we need to fill 1 industry representative. So I'll go ahead and move a motion to appoint Greg Mason as our industry representative. Upset.
Second.
There we go.
Moving second, is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
For a citizens representative, I'd like to go ahead and move to appoint Neil McLaughlin as a citizens representative.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And for a business representative, I'd like to go ahead and move to accept Brian Jones as our business representative on the JCBA.
Now, that's where I differ with you on your approach.
Okay.
I think 2 people have been nominated for that slot, and I think we should, and there's 2 slots available, I think we should vote on that.
Okay. All right. So
I
we
don't
have 2
know.
for business. So we have Brian, and we have 2 open. So we have Brian and Judy.
Yeah.
All right. So, how do you do this? How do you
Well,
do it?
Caleb should ask for the votes for each.
Yeah, I figured like if you only voted for one person, it could still fail. If someone nominated both of them, it could still fail. That's why.
Yeah.
I was just gonna let someone make a motion and let the vote. do what it
Okay,
does.
do it whatever.
So, one at a time.
If that's what the motion is. That's
All right, I'll move again to accept Brian Jones as our business representative.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion?
So that we're just voting on the one slot.
Just one
right?
slot, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes, ma'am.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there no motion?
I move that we appoint Judy York as a business representative.
Is there a second? Hearing none, the motion fails.
And do we need a motion to leave this open or anything, you know?
But they've already been advertised, so I think we're just keeping it open until it goes.
Okay, all right. And then we'll put it on the next week's, in 2 weeks agenda, or third, okay. All right, that's all I wanted to check on some legal stuff with Nate first. But
Well, and I think you're right to check on Mr.
yeah, and then we'll vote again in 2 weeks, just because we want to check. That's why I want to do it. All right,
Oh, so for the nominee under next week.
that's up to the chairman.
So I just want to clarify, is my could it be possible I'd be nominated again in 2 weeks? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Should I come back or?
I wouldn't say you have to. We've already interviewed you.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Sorry, I got that very
Yeah,
confused.
this is very confusing, for the folks watching it, that, just so everybody does know, there are very specific representatives on this board. So people are watching, seeing us kind of fumble the football here a lot. Because there's citizens representatives, there's business representatives, there's industry representatives, there's actually a municipal representatives. Thank goodness we didn't have to get a notice today. And that's a whole nother, but they're very specific, and this is all done by state code and how we're supposed to do it. So I just
Well,
wanted to
and
add
that's
that.
what I was wondering too about Mr. Calandria.
Yeah.
Isn't there a city of Ranson, but I don't know if he
Yeah.
lives in Ranson, he has a business in Ranson.
And we also need to have a labor representative, so somebody
Yes,
needs to be
yeah.
on the union. So
Yeah.
that's another one so it is confusing, and all this is laid out by state code. So
Well, and I'm sorry.
it'd be easy if they were all 15 seats at large, it'd be real simple to do. So thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Then you-
Next thing I had was the County Farmland Protection Board, one unexpired term. And then did we interview Mr. Stein for the wrong board or?
You applied for both.
No,
Okay,
he applied for the,
Thank you. Good, that's who's also there.
see, I can't even.
Here's a question I have for that one. It says a non-farmer. Mr. Stein's a farmer, correct?
I know, but he's retired, has a doctorate in public health. He just, well, I think his motorcycle accident retired him. You know, he did work in public health, so it's however you want to interpret that. You're right. It's a little cloudy. I think he would be an excellent board member.
I think he would too. I think he's has his heart in the right direction to
Yeah.
preserve farm ground for sure.
Well, and he's done it. His family has done that. I mean,
Yes.
His parents put the farm in farmland protection. So,
Yeah. You're on that board.
Yeah,
I don't have any heartburn appointing him to that board. If you think it's, I mean, it's up to you.
yeah, I'm fine with it.
I guess my point is owning a farm and being a farmer are probably two different, well, it
Yeah.
is, I'll be honest, two different, complete,
Well, you know, I understand that.
yeah, so if he I don't know if he actively farms or I don't know.
No, it's beef cattle operation.
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
But, you know, it's up to your, you know, I'm fine with it, but we have a hard time getting people to serve on the board.
Understand.
So,
Okay.
but yeah, like you say, it is not fitting the exact slot.
Okay. All right, well, I don't have a problem appointing him out, but I'm just gonna do a motion to appoint Colin Stein to the one unexpired term for the Farmland Protection Board.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And can we just make sure to reach out to him because he did leave? before the
Yeah,
vote?
yeah, I'll contact him.
Yeah, that's fine with me. You want to go to 11?
What do you got? Where you got?
All right, guys, we're going to recess till 11 o'clock.
Oh, we
3
were
minutes.
fine.
I mean, there's 3 women here. That's pregnant. So, you know, there's 4 women here.
Hold on, man. We're coming up on an 8 o'clock right now. In a little bit.
All right, so next I have is Lynn Fields, quarterly review of estates, accountings and waivers. I believe we need to meet as a fiduciary review board.
Yes.
Okay. I'll make that motion. Someone second.
Second.
So moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are a fiduciary review board.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning. I'm here from the probate office under the county clerk to present a list of accounts and waivers that have met all of the deadlines of the probate office and are needing your approval to be closed.
Okay, I'll move to approve the new estates that have been open since last quarterly review in January and approve the closure of estates that have met the requirements of the probate office.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
I move we go back into regular session.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are back in regular session.
Names on that list.
The next item I have is 7, Bob Berner, draft ambulance location alternatives. Is there anyone that wanted to lead this discussion?
Yes, is Bob on there? Is Bob? Okay. Yeah, I asked, just so y'all know, we met, Claire and I have been meeting with the, a smaller committee with the fire departments, and they did ask us to basically reach out to Director Berner to see what he would recommend and what locations. So I asked Bob to come up with a plan to present to us. I did try to have this plan to the committee prior to meeting here today. However, they were unavailable. We're going to meet next week. So I thought we would just go ahead and have the commission look at it today. I do know we have been going back and forth on the deployment, the areas, and just several different items. And they wanted to, I know Chief Demerit wanted to hear from Director Berner. He said his quotes were, "I trust Director Berner." So with that being said, Director Berner, I'd like to turn it over. I guess we'll turn it over to you if you want to go over your plan. I don't know if we can, we can share your screen if you have something you can put up. Or I don't know how you do that, but if you can do that, that'd be great.
Well, I'm looking, and I don't see that readily available here, unless I'm missing it. But there's really not. It's not a great deal to look at here. There's not. I wouldn't even go so far as to call this a plan. Can everybody hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. My office is an echo chamber, and so I try to do the best here with what I've got. Anyway, as Commissioner Stolfer said, the general request was where would we locate ambulances? The assumption that I was working with is that there would be 5 staff ambulances, and it's rather challenging because there's two possible paths here. The consideration that the volunteers lease space to the county for these ambulances. And I know that was a recommendation in the Fitch report, and it seems to be something that Commissioner Stolfer has at least expressed interest in preferring that route rather than finding or building stations. The problem I have in trying to plan that out is that we don't know if that's going to be a reality, if that's going to be, excuse me, possible, and if so, would all of the stations be available, or would there be some that are we could include in the plan and some that would not be usable? And if one is eliminated from the plan, that could change the location of several others in order to try and accommodate the population and the location of the incidents. So to that end, and I'll start sort of at the end first, we need to know what's available before I can tell you where we would want to put things. And we would also need to know whether how many total locations would we be financially able to pursue. I can tell you that we're going to take 5 ambulances and we're going to put 1 each in 5 different locations, but the occupancy times 5 is probably much more than the occupancy times 2, 3, or 4. And so the same thing applies if we're looking at the, sort of, I forget what it was called, but wipe the slate clean and without assuming that, don't even know how I want to say that. If we did not, if we assumed that we had to find our own locations, that the volunteer locations were not available to us, where we would be looking at to place these ambulances would be certainly in Charlestown, ideally somewhere just south of Charlestown, on or among the highways or interchanges of Route 9 and 340. I think we've learned from our recent work that the access we get being right there on Route 9 from Station 2 gets us to a lot of places very quickly. So that's a big advantage. We'd also be looking at an area in the neighborhood of Route 9 and Leetown Road and 480 that, like with the South Charlestown area, that gives us the fast access back into the highest population zones in the county. It also gets us onto Route 9 for the incidents that happen on Route 9 and provides a path both south into the Middleway area and north into the Shepherdstown area. And because the volume, as has been identified by our agency and others in Shepherdstown, is relatively high, we would recommend a unit in Shepherdstown as well. Any questions on that so far?
No, sir.
No.
Okay. And then the question comes to where would you put the spare units? And this, again, this question is difficult to answer as well, because that would depend. Are we housing spare units simply to use in case one of the staffed units is mechanically unavailable or some other reason can't be used? Or are we looking at having those spare units in volunteer stations that the volunteers would be able to use? And again, I would need to know if that's a possibility. Is there, do we have agreement from the volunteers to host and operate ambulances or not? And without knowing if that's, if there's a willingness there and which ones, it's hard to project where we would want things to be. And all of this would require, I'd say it's preliminary, and we need to do, like a final GIS modeling. We've taken several different hybrid versions of where to locate things based on 4 units or 5 units. I'm sorry, 4 or 6 units, and we use some of that information to come up with what we believe is the best locations for 5, but we'd want to verify that and make sure we get it right. And likewise, if we're looking at going into the stations, depending on how many of those stations are available to us, there may be an opportunity to go beyond these 3 locations and be in, maybe, I don't know, Harper's Ferry, Middleway, wherever, other places. But I feel like I'm trying to draw someone a map to a town I've never been to and don't know where the roads are or don't know what roads exist. So, I'm somewhat limited there. I'm more than happy to help, but hopefully this helps somewhat.
Bob, I mean, obviously we're making a lot of assumptions, and we need a lot of answers yet to provide a more clear picture. But just assume, if we're assuming that the volunteer fire companies do lease the county space to house the ambulances, where would your recommendation be for the ambulances?
If all the county firehouses were available to us as locations for ambulances, I would say that we would look very strongly at Citizens Station 2. As I said, their location on Route 9 with that access, it's incredible as far as what they can get to in a short amount of time. We also certainly would want to be in Shepherdstown. Again, the incident density there is pretty strong in a consolidated area. I would also think we would want to look at Independent Station 4 in Ranson. Yes, we are aware that Station 2 can get, responding from Station 2 citizens, you certainly have the ability to get around town and get into the south end of town rather quickly. Something that Independent does provide, though, is that they're right in the density in our most populated area. So that certainly should be taken into consideration. And then the next thing I'd want to look at would be Harper's Ferry, because their incident density is tightly clustered right in the Harper's Ferry Bolivar area. As we look out into Middleway or even Bakerton, those stations, the calls are just dispersed so evenly over. It's a very large area, particularly in Middleway, a very large area with not a very high call volume, but they're dispersed over such a broad area. It's difficult to find a place that even in the center that gets you everywhere quickly.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for putting this together. If I'm sure if the committee has any further questions, we'll certainly reach out to you to provide even more data if need be.
Yes, sir. Anything else for me, folks?
No, thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Bob.
Yes, sir, my pleasure.
Is there anything we can handle in open session?
We're going to do anything on number 9? I don't know if there's going to be a more generalized discussion besides what Mr. Farmer.
I had intended to leave it on there in case there were updates from the committee,
Okay.
but I didn't plan.
All right. Well, but if you don't mind, I have some information I wanted to share, and I meant put it on the agenda, and I forgot. But we do have the Fitch report, and Mr. Thiel I asked for some figures, and we don't need to discuss it, but I just do think it's very interesting. You take one and pass it down. I asked for a historical, cost summary and so forth. And, it's very hard trying to describe to the public how emergency services are funded in Jefferson County. There's not one source of funding. And it comes from several different sources. So, but what I wanted to point out, at least to the public, because I had one fellow say, well, how much would it cost to just continue doing things the same way? Well, on the first page that talks about the expenditure summary, and it's from the fiscal year 16 all the way up to the fiscal year 22 right now. At the bottom, there's, the percentage change from year to year. And there's, a pretty wide span there. But if you look in total, for 7 years, it was a 63% increase. So that's, if you average that out, which is not, that's not reality, but that's 9% a year. So, our citizens need to be aware, no matter what methodology we use to get where we need to go, that's that number. We can't support that with tax money. I mean, 9% a year increase in EMS, significant. And we've got to find a way to do it better. But I do think we need a lot more engagement. But to stay the same is not an option, in my opinion, based on these numbers. So we need to find a way to move forward and have some public participation. And I don't know what that's going to look like. It's all on us to figure that out and work with the fire departments and our our staff, our ESA. And, you know, just a reminder, the ESA is the fire board and the EMS board. So, but, you know we depend on the resources of the volunteer fire departments, and they depend on our resources, our staff. So we got to work hard to come up with some answers that are sustainable.
No, I agree with you 100% because I keep getting asked the question, why do we have the study? And these numbers are very telling because like you said, it's we see a 9% increase every year. We got to make sure that we are using taxpayer money where it needs to be spent at.
Well, and our tax revenues don't increase 9% every year.
No, they don't.
And we're constitutionally mandated to adequately fund our elected officials. You know, they can take us to court and have in the past when they didn't feel like they were adequately funded.
I appreciate you putting this together.
Well, I didn't.
Well, we're but 63% is significant, especially when you factor in the fact that there was COVID and you look at fiscal year 20 was only 2.1%. I'm sure that would have been significantly higher had it not been.
So,
Well, never mind. So, just to back to what Captain Berner or Director Berner had presented and a lot of unknowns, and in relation to what we have with the Fitch report, I would like to make a motion to direct Mr. Nissel to start reaching out to these volunteer fire departments and find out who's interested in selling their ambulances so we can get the ball going on what's available to us and what's not before we can decide where they're going to be and, or even if they're, you know, interested in leasing space back to with that. Who's interested? That's what we need to know. We got to start somewhere. So I'd like to make a motion to direct Mr. Nissel to begin reaching out to the chiefs to determine who's willing to sell their ambulances.
One question, can we add to that motion and also who would be willing to sell and lease space?
Yeah, who would be willing to work with us to lease space.
Okay, I'll second that.
Well, I think that I agree with the motion, but I think I just want to say or comment or include that kind of like Jane said, we need to figure out what the next option is and for the public and the committee and the fire people. It's just that we need to know what options are out there in order to make a decision. So I do think this is a good next step because we need to be able to look at all the options on the table. And if we don't get answers of who's willing to lease or if who's interested, then we can't assess our options properly.
Is there any more discussion?
I understand perfectly what you're saying from a practical matter. I'm thinking it's a little premature, but, you know, and I know you and Claire are on the front lines and I've been there. And so, but I do think that may be one step, but I do think we have to come up with a more community approach. I mean, we have citizens that just don't understand what's going on. And I think any decision we would make right now would just blow up.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm coming from. I think we've got some more work to do in front of us instead of throwing Mr. Nissel under the bus and getting into situations where people get their backs up against the wall and will refuse to cooperate. That's where I'm coming from.
And I understand that, but I know we probably have more ambulances in this county than what we need. And we have to know, or the volunteer fire department is going to work with us. And not because everybody's willing to sell means that it's going to be a good piece of apparatus that we are interested in. So we got to start somewhere to determine, are we buying existing assets are available to us, or are we going to have to look at new assets? And then there's a whole timeline with that. So it's just gauging interest on what's available to us in the county now.
and trying to figure out how we move forward. We haven't determined what plan we're going with yet, so, but we got to start somewhere to say,
No, and like I say, I certainly understand that. If it was my business, that's what I would do. But,
Yeah, I don't, we're not picking a model right now. It's just basically exploring opportunities. So,
I understand.
and we're not, of course, I don't think we're there yet to pick a model, but, you know, and, but once we get some of these questions answered, I think that would, just like Director Berner mentioned, that would give him an opportunity to really start plugging these numbers down in certain areas and putting together a more defined approach. So.
And it costs him.
Yep.
And we need a financial director to help with that.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Well, yeah.
Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I have some reservations.
Okay. Motion passes 4-1. All right, is there any other business we can do in public?
Probably the county administrators.
Yeah.
So I can take care of the first one, the designation of authorized signer on related requests and reimbursement. So probably a couple months ago, we went through this before. Our finance director used to sign off like on grant requests and things like that. This is basically just requests for reimbursements, not, contracts or anything like that. This is just reimbursements. So anyway, the finance director was doing it, and then when we didn't have anybody, kind of fell on me, so you approved me to do it. When I'm leaving, we'll need somebody to do it. We don't have a finance director, so we'll probably have to refer this to John. And we just need an official motion to say that, so they can bring their documents to John to sign.
Okay.
I'll move that we designate Mr. Nissel as our authorized signer on grant-related requests for reimbursements.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I think John will do the next one.
Yeah, okay, we're ready. So I have sent everybody out a contract for Sandy McDonald, who will be leaving the nest here next Tuesday to come on as a interim contractor until we hire and onboard her replacement. I sent the draft contract for everyone to review. Commissioner Jackson had caught a duplication on there, so I made that correction. So I'm just looking, my ask today is to make a motion to approve the contract for Sandy McDonald moving forward.
We need a motion for that.
Yes.
I'll also move that we approve it, the contract for Sandy McDonald.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hearing all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
you can't walk away that.
No.
Yeah, so you're still the designated authorized signer. All right. I guess we need to go into.
I think everything else left is in.
Which ones do you need, Nate? Yeah, this is the Nathan Cocker 5 minutes, so.
Commissioners, in my never-ending quest to make you happy, especially Commissioners South and Jackson. One of the commissioners wants to discuss one of my issues.
No, I think they're good. The only thing I would like to discuss is agenda item number 9. I do have some questions to relate to the commission on that one. That's okay.
And then I have a question about old business number 10. Does that come off or do we keep rolling that one?
That was resolved in.
So we can.
That came off, yeah.
Okay, I'll move the motion to go into executive session for to discuss agenda item number 9 to receive legal advice from our counsel.
That's fine with me.
Okay.
I mean, if it's to receive legal advice.
Yes.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Opposed? We are in executive session. I move we come out of executive session. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? We are back in regular session. Is there anything else to come before the commission today? All right, hearing none, we are adjourned.
Thank you.